At Christmas dinner, my mom yanked the chair out from under my 8-year-old. That's for my real grandchild, she snapped. He hit the floor. No one moved. I didn't raise my voice. I looked at him and said this. My mom's wine glass slipped from her hand. My dad's face turned pale. I stood there watching my 8-year-old daughter hit the hardwood floor with a sickening thud. The Christmas turkey was still steaming on the table. My mother was already pulling out a different chair, fluffing the cushion for my sister's son. That's for my real grandchild, she'd said it loud enough for everyone to hear. My name is Rebecca, and that was the moment I stopped pretending my family was normal. You want to know the twisted part? I saw it coming. For 3 years, ever since I adopted Mia from foster care, my mother had been dropping hints like grenades at family gatherings. Blood is thicker than water. You never know what you're getting with those kids. But yanking a chair out from under an 8-year-old at Christmas dinner? Even for her, that was a new low. Mia just sat there on the floor, not crying. That's what broke me. She'd learned not to cry when people hurt her. Do you know what that does to a mother's heart? The dining room went silent except for Bing Crosby crooning about white Christmases from the speaker in the corner. My father froze mid-carve, knife suspended over the turkey. My sister Jessica pretended to be fascinated by her phone. My brother Tom suddenly needed to check on something in the kitchen. Cowards, all of them. I helped Mia up slowly, brushing off her red velvet dress. She whispered, "It's okay, Mommy. I can sit somewhere else." That's when I looked at my son. Yes, my son. The one nobody knew about yet. See, here's what my mother didn't know. 6 months earlier, I'd started fostering a 15-year-old boy named Marcus. The paperwork was going through for adoption. I hadn't told anyone because I knew exactly how they'd react. But Marcus was in my car right now, waiting in the driveway because I'd been too chicken-hearted to bring him in yet. I told him to give me 15 minutes to prep the family. What a joke that turned out to be. I looked at my mother, still fussing over my nephew's chair placement, and something inside me just clicked. I pulled out my phone. Texted Marcus, "Come inside. Use the front door." My mother was pouring herself more wine, probably thinking the incident was over. "Rebecca, sit down. You're being dramatic. It was just a chair. Just a chair. Do you think I was overreacting?" I didn't sit. I waited. 30 seconds later, the front door opened. Marcus stepped into the hallway, tall and uncertain in the button-down shirt I'd bought him for today. His social worker had warned me he had trust issues. No kidding. His last 3 placements had sent him back within weeks. My mother's head snapped toward the door. "Who is that?" I put my arm around Mia, who was still standing beside me, and smiled at Marcus. Waved him over. He walked into that dining room like he was heading to his own execution. "Everyone," I said, my voice steady as glass. "This is Marcus. My son. Well, he will be officially in about 6 weeks when the adoption finalizes." You should have seen their faces. My mother's wine glass tilted. Red liquid sloshed onto the white tablecloth, spreading like blood. She didn't even notice. My father went pale, actually pale, like someone had drained the color right out of him. Marcus stood next to me, rigid. Mia grabbed his hand. And I said very clearly, looking directly at my mother, "So I guess you'll need to yank out 2 more chairs. Since apparently, you only have room for real grandchildren at this table." The wine glass slipped from my mother's fingers. It didn't shatter, just rolled across the table, dripping Merlot onto her precious imported rug. What I did next? Well, that's when things got really interesting. My mother's mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. Marcus squeezed Mia's hand tighter, and I could feel him ready to bolt. 3 years in the system teaches you when to run. "Rebecca." My father finally found his voice. You can't just spring this on us at Christmas dinner." "Can't I though?" I tilted my head, keeping my voice sweet as pie. "Oh, I'm sorry, Dad. Was I supposed to send out a newsletter? Maybe get your approval first." I pulled out a chair for Marcus. "Sit down, honey. The turkey's getting cold." He hesitated, looking at me like I'd lost my mind. Maybe I had. But here's the thing about breaking, really breaking. It's incredibly freeing. Jessica set down her phone, eyes wide. "Beck, Mom didn't mean." "Didn't mean what?" I interrupted. "Didn't mean to physically assault my daughter? Didn't mean to call her fake to her face? Which part didn't she mean, Jess?" My sister had the decency to look ashamed. Tom slunk back from the kitchen, carrying a bowl of mashed potatoes like a shield. My mother recovered first. He always does. "I will not be spoken to this way in my own home. I raised you better than this." I laughed. Actually laughed. "You raised me to smile and take it. To keep the peace. To let you stomp all over my boundaries because family is everything, right?" I looked around the table. Where was that energy when Mia hit the floor? Where was family is everything then? Silence. Beautiful, damning silence. Marcus whispered to me, "We can go. I don't want to cause trouble." That's what got me. This kid, 15 years old, already apologizing for existing. Just like Mia learned not to cry. Do you see the pattern? Do you see what these kids are taught before they ever get to me? "We're not going anywhere," I said firmly. "This is your family now. They're going to have to deal with it." My mother stood up, napkin clutched in her fist. "I have accommodated your lifestyle choices with that girl. But this is too much, Rebecca. A teenage boy? Do you have any idea what you're getting into?" "His name is Mia," I said coldly. "And his name is Marcus. Use them. I won't be dictated to. Then we'll leave." I started gathering my things. "Come on, kids. We'll have Christmas somewhere we're actually wanted." That's when my father surprised me. He set down the carving knife with a sharp clink. "Eleanor, sit down." My mother whirled on him. "Excuse me." I said sit down. His voice was quiet but firm. I'd never heard him stand up to her like that. Not in 37 years. "You yanked a chair out from under an 8-year-old child. Our granddaughter. I don't care what your feelings are about adoption, that was cruel. You will apologize." You could have heard a pin drop. My mother's face went through about 15 emotions in 3 seconds. "Michael, you cannot be serious." "Dead serious." He looked at Mia and I saw his eyes get watery. "Sweetheart, I am so sorry. That should never have happened. You sit right there." He pointed to the chair next to his at the head of the table. "The place of honor. Marcus, you do." Other side. Tom suddenly developed a spine. "Yeah, seriously, Mom. That was messed up." Jessica nodded, finally putting her phone away. "I should have said something. I'm sorry, Beck." My mother stood there, outnumbered, her perfect Christmas dinner falling apart. I could see her calculating. She's always been a calculator. Weighing whether to double down or retreat. "This is ridiculous," she muttered, but she sat down. "The apology, Eleanor," my father prompted. She looked at Mia like the words were being extracted with pliers. "I apologize for startling you." Startling. Not hurting. Not humiliating. Startling like she was a loud noise. I opened my mouth but Mia beat me to it. My brave, beautiful girl looked my mother dead in the eye and said, "I forgive you, Grandma. Even if you don't think I'm real." The table went silent again. Out of the mouths of babes, right? "What do you think I should have done? Would you have stayed or left?" We sat down. All of us. The most awkward Christmas dinner in the history of awkward Christmas dinners. My mother picked at her food. My father kept trying to make conversation with Marcus about football. Jessica asked me about school. Tom told terrible jokes. It was horrible and uncomfortable and absolutely necessary. But as we were leaving, as I was bundling the kids into their coats, my mother pulled me aside in the hallway. Her face was pinched, angry. "You've made your point, Rebecca. Very dramatic. Very effective. But don't think this is over." I smiled at her. "Oh, Mom. This is just the beginning." Because here's what she didn't know. I had screenshots. 3 years of text messages. Her telling Jessica that adopted kids were damaged goods. Her asking Tom if I was going through a phase. Her emailing articles about attachment disorders to my father with subject lines like, "Concerns about Rebecca's choices." I'd been saving them. Just in case. No. I was going to use them. What happened next changed everything. The week after Christmas, my mother did what she always does when she doesn't get her way. She launched a campaign. Phone calls to relatives. Concerned messages to my father. A sudden interest in grandparent rights, articles shared pointedly on Facebook. But here's what she didn't expect. I went nuclear first. I created a family group chat. Everyone. Aunts, uncles, cousins, even my grandmother in Florida. 87 years old and sharper than a tack. I titled it Family Transparency and started posting screenshots. The first one, Mom's text to Jessica from 2 years ago. "Those foster kids come with baggage. Rebecca's going to regret this when that girl steals from her." Mia had never stolen a thing in her life. Unless you count my heart. The second, an email to Dad. I read that adopted children can't bond properly. Rebecca's setting herself up for heartbreak. We need to intervene. The third, a voice message she'd left Tom. I transcribed it word for word. If Rebecca wanted to help children, she could volunteer. She doesn't need to bring them into our family permanently. Do you think I went too far? Because I wasn't done. My phone exploded. Cousin Sarah, "Holy crap, Aunt Eleanor said this?" Uncle Pete, "This is really messed up." Aunt Diane, "I knew she was cold, but wow." And then Grandma Betty called me directly. Rebecca Ann put me on speaker. I did hands shaking. Mia and Marcus were at school. I was alone in my kitchen staring at my phone like it might bite me. Eleanor Jean. My grandmother's voice could cut glass. I raised you better than this, and I know for a fact I did because I remember blistering your behind when you were cruel to that Mexican girl in your third grade class. You remember Maria? Silence on the other end. My mother had joined the call. I asked you a question, Eleanor. Yes, mother. I remember. My mom's voice was tight. And what did I tell you then? That family isn't about blood. It's about who shows up. Exactly. Grandma Betty was on a roll. And here's Rebecca showing up for 2 children who need her, and you're acting like she brought home stray dogs. Those are your grandchildren. Period. End of discussion. I heard my mother take a shaky breath. Mother, you don't understand the complexities. I understand that I'm 87 years old and I don't have time for this nonsense. You will fix this, Eleanor. Or I'm changing my will. And before you ask, yes, I'm serious. The call ended. I sat there slightly stunned. Grandma Betty had always been my ally, but that was legendary. 30 minutes later my mother called. No FaceTime. Just voice. She knew I'd see her face and know she was lying. Rebecca. We need to talk. I'm listening. What you did, posting those messages, that was vindictive. Was it untrue? I asked. Pause. No. But it was private. So was Christmas dinner, Mom. Until you decided to make a public spectacle of rejecting my daughter. I was done playing nice. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to therapy. Family therapy. With me, with the kids, all of us. I will not. Or I'm posting the rest. I have 2 years worth, Mom. 2 years of you bad-mouthing my children. Your choice. Can you imagine having to blackmail your own mother into basic human decency? She hung up on me. But 3 days later I got a text. Fine. Find a therapist. Victory? Maybe. Or maybe just the opening move. The first therapy session was in mid-January. Dr. Patterson's office smelled like lavender and had too many inspirational posters. My mother sat ramrod straight on the couch, arms crossed. I sat across from her. The kids stayed home for this one. Dr. Patterson was a black woman in her 50s with kind eyes and zero tolerance for BS. I liked her immediately. Eleanor, Rebecca asked for this session. Why don't you share your perspective on the Christmas incident? My mother's jaw tightened. I think my daughter is being overly sensitive. I made a mistake in the heat of the moment. Children fall down. It happens. You pulled the chair out from under her, I said flatly. On purpose. I didn't pull. Mom. There were 12 witnesses. Dr. Patterson held up a hand. Eleanor, I'm hearing defensiveness. Let's try this. What were you feeling when you moved that chair? My mother was silent for a long moment. When she finally spoke, her voice was small. Replaced. I blinked. What? You heard me. She wouldn't look at me. Jessica's son, Tyler, he's the first grandchild. The only grandchild I thought I'd ever have. You always said you didn't want children. Then suddenly you have 2 and they're not. Not what, Mom? Say it. Not mine. She looked up and I saw tears. Actual tears. They're not mine, Rebecca. I didn't get to be in the delivery room. I don't see myself in their faces. I don't have baby pictures. I don't have anything except these strangers you brought home and expect me to love instantly. Dr. Patterson leaned forward. That's honest. Thank you, Eleanor. I sat there, emotions warring in my chest. Part of me wanted to scream at her. Part of me, got it. Hated that I got it, but got it. You could have said that, I whispered. Instead of hurting her. I know. My mother wiped her eyes. I know, and I'm sorry. Truly sorry. Not for startling her. For hurting her. For making her feel less than. It wasn't enough. But it was something. What would you have done? Accepted the apology or pushed harder? We left that session with homework. My mother had to spend 1 hour a week, just her and Mia, doing something Mia chose. No Tyler. No distractions. The first week Mia chose baking. They made chocolate chip cookies in my mother's pristine kitchen. Mom sent me a picture. Both of them covered in flour, Mia grinning. The second week, nail salon. Mom sent a selfie of their matching purple manicures. The third week, Marcus asked if he could join. That's when things got really interesting. Because my mother, he was trying. Awkwardly, imperfectly, but trying. And then my sister ruined everything. Jessica showed up at my house on a Tuesday afternoon unannounced. Tyler was with her and she looked furious. We need to talk, she said, pushing past me into my living room. Mia and Marcus were doing homework at the kitchen table. I gestured for them to stay there and closed the door between us. What's wrong? Jessica paced like a caged animal. What's wrong? What's wrong? You've turned Mom into a completely different person, that's what's wrong. She canceled Tyler's Saturday playdate because she was taking your kids to the zoo. Though, Rebecca. That was our thing. Our tradition. I crossed my arms. So you're mad that mom's actually trying to be a grandmother to Mia and Marcus? I'm mad that my son is getting pushed aside. Her voice cracked. Tyler asked me yesterday why grandma likes Mia better now. He's 6 years old, Beck. 6. And he's crying because suddenly he's not special anymore. That hit different. I hadn't thought about Tyler in all this. He'd been the golden child, the real grandchild mom had fawned over for 6 years. No. Jess, I'm sorry Tyler's hurting. I really am. But you were there. You saw what mom did to Mia. Did you expect me to just let that go? No, but, she stopped, rubbed her face. Did you have to humiliate her in front of the entire family? The group chat, Beck? Really? Aunt Diane won't stop bringing it up. Uncle Pete lectured mom for 45 minutes on the phone. Grandma Betty's threatening to cut her out of the will. You destroyed her. She destroyed my daughter's sense of safety. I shot back. Do you know what Mia asked me last week? She asked if Grandma was going to send her back, like her last foster mom did. That's what your precious nephew doesn't have to worry about, Jess. Being sent back. Jessica flinched. Tyler was in the living room playing with toys, oblivious. I know what mom did was wrong, she said quietly. But you've overcorrected. Now Tyler's the one feeling rejected. Is that fair? Was it fair? Honestly, I didn't know anymore. What do you want me to do? I asked. Tell mom to stop spending time with my kids? Go back to how things were. No, She sighed. I want balance. I want mom to have room for all three of them. Is that too much to ask? It wasn't. And I knew it. But here's where it got complicated. That Saturday mom had plans to take Mia and Marcus to the science museum. I called her. Mom, can Tyler come too? Silence. Then, Jessica put you up to this. Tyler's hurting. He thinks you replaced him. More silence. I could practically hear her thinking. Rebecca, I'm trying. I'm really trying with your children. But if I bring Tyler, it becomes about him again. He's used to being the center of attention. Mia and Marcus need this time. He had a point. Didn't she? Or was I making excuses? Just, think about it, I said. She did bring Tyler. And it was a disaster. According to mom, and she called me in tears afterward, Tyler spent the entire time whining that he'd already seen the dinosaur exhibit, that he wanted to go to the gift shop, that he was bored. Marcus tried to show him the planetarium and Tyler said, this is baby stuff. Mia offered to share her snack and Tyler said, my grandma buys me better snacks than that. My mother, to her credit, corrected him. Tyler, that's unkind. Apologize to Mia. And Tyler, sweet 6-year-old Tyler who'd never been told no by his grandmother in his life, looked at her and said, you're not even their real grandma. My mom said so. I heard the story from mom first. Then from Jessica, who was livid that mom had scolded Tyler. Then from Marcus, who quietly told me that Tyler had also called him the weird kid nobody wanted. Do you see how messy this had become? How my mother's growth was causing ripples I hadn't anticipated. I called an emergency family meeting. My house. Everyone. Mom, Dad, Jessica, Tom, and yes, all the kids. We sat in my living room, tension thick enough to cut. Tyler sat close to Jessica, looking confused. Mia held Marcus's hand. My parents sat on opposite ends of the couch. Okay, I started. This is broken. All of it. And we need to fix it before we destroy these kids in the process. Jessica jumped in immediately. Tyler didn't mean. Jess. Let me finish. I looked at my mother. Mom, you've been trying. I see it. The kids see it. But you went from ignoring Mia and Marcus to overcompensating and now Tyler feels abandoned. That's not okay either. My mother's face crumpled. I don't know what you want from me, Rebecca. I can't win. I don't want you to win. I want you to be fair. Tom, quiet Tom, who never got involved, spoke up. Maybe the problem is that we're treating this like a competition. Like there's a limited amount of love to go around. Everyone turned to look at him. What if, he continued, we just stopped comparing? Stopped keeping score? Tyler's been the only grandkid for 6 years. Yeah, that's changing. That's hard for him. But Mia and Marcus have been rejected their whole lives. That's harder. And mom's learning to be a different kind of grandmother. That's hard too. My father nodded slowly. Your brother's right. We've all been so focused on who's right and who's wrong that we forgot these are children. They're listening to every word. I looked at the kids. Mia's eyes were downcast. Marcus looked like he wanted to disappear. Tyler was crying silently into Jessica's shoulder. My heart broke a little. Tyler, I said gently. Come here, buddy. He hesitated, then climbed off Jessica's lap and came to me. I knelt down to his level. You know what? You're right. Grandma Eleanor isn't Mia and Marcus's real grandma. No, why? He shook his head. Because real grandmas don't yank chairs out from under kids. Real grandmas don't call them fake. Real grandmas love all their grandkids no matter how they joined the family. I smoothed his hair. Grandma's learning to be real. For all of you. That means sometimes she needs extra time with Mia and Marcus to catch up on the 6 years she missed with them. But that doesn't mean she loves you less. Understand? He nodded, still crying. Jessica was crying too now. I'm sorry, she whispered. I've been so focused on protecting Tyler that I didn't protect Mia. At Christmas. I just sat there. I know, I said. But you can do better now. My mother stood up, walked over to all 3 kids and knelt down with effort. Her knees cracked. She looked at each of them. I haven't been fair to any of you. Tyler, you're my first grandson and you'll always be special. Mia, you're my brave girl and I'm sorry I made you feel small. Marcus, you're my surprise grandson and I want to know everything about you. She took a shaky breath. Can we start over? All of us. Mia, precious Mia said, Grandma, you don't start over with family. You just keep going. Even Jessica laughed through her tears at that one. We didn't fix everything that night. But we made a plan, rotating one-on-one time with each kid. Family dinners every other week, all of us. Therapy continuation for Mom. And Jessica agreed to talk to Tyler about adoption, about families, about kindness. It was messy and imperfect and absolutely necessary. But 2 weeks later something happened that tested everything we'd built. 2 weeks later Marcus ran away. I came home from work to find Mia sobbing at the kitchen table and Marcus's room empty. His backpack gone. The $20 I kept in my desk drawer gone. My heart stopped. What happened? Through tears Mia told me. A kid at school asked Marcus if he was my charity case. Marcus punched him. Got suspended. He'd texted me but I'd been in meetings all day. He thought I'd send him back to the system. That's when I knew we hadn't fixed anything. We just put a band-aid on a bullet wound. I called everyone. Mom answered first. I'm coming over. Not a question. A statement. She arrived before the police did. Dad came too. Then Jessica with Tyler. Even Tom left work early. My mother took charge like a general. Michael, you drive north toward the park. Tom, check the mall. Jessica, call his school friends. Mom, you don't have to, I started. He's my grandson. She gripped my shoulders. We find him together. Do you know what that meant to me? In that moment, we found him 3 hours later at the bus station, ticket to nowhere clutched in his hand. My mother spotted him first. She walked up slowly, sat down next to him on the bench. Running away? She asked. Marcus wouldn't look at her. I messed up. She's gonna send me back. Bye, daughter. Rebecca. Mom actually laughed. Honey, that woman fought me, her own mother, for you. You think a school suspension is going to change that? I punched a kid. Good. Was he being a jerk? Marcus's head snapped up. What? I asked if he deserved it. My mother's voice was steel. Because let me tell you something about our family, Marcus. We fight for each other. Sometimes that means therapy and apologies. Sometimes that means punching jerks who call you names. Either way, we don't run. We stay and we fix it. He started crying. My mother pulled him into a hug, this woman who 3 months ago called him a stranger. I watched from a distance, tears streaming down my face. Dad put his arm around me. She's learning, he whispered. We all are. We brought Marcus home. Had the hard conversation about consequences and communication. He took his suspension. Did community service. But more importantly, he stopped waiting for me to give up on him. And my mother? She showed up to his first basketball game. Sat next to Mia and Tyler, all 3 of them wearing homemade shirts that said Marcus's fan club. Jessica leaned over during halftime. Mom made those. Stayed up until midnight with her cricket machine. I looked at my mother, cheering louder than anyone when Marcus made a layup, and something in my chest unclenched. It wasn't perfect. Mom still said awkward things sometimes. Jessica and I still argued about favoritism. Tyler still struggled with sharing attention. But we were trying. Last month we had Easter dinner. All of us. Mom set the table with 4 place settings at the kids' table. Equal. Fair. Beautiful. Before we ate, she stood up with her wine glass. I want to say something. 3 months ago I was cruel. Blind. Scared of losing what I had instead of seeing what I could gain. She looked at me and Marcus. You 2 taught me that family isn't about blood. It's about choice. And I choose you. Every day. Mia whispered to me later. Grandma's real now, right, Mommy? Yeah, baby. He's real. So that's my story. Messy, painful, but ultimately worth it. My mom went from yanking chairs to making fan club t-shirts. My family went from broken to something better than it was. If you've dealt with family rejection with people who couldn't see past their own limitations, I see you. It's hard. It's exhausting. But sometimes people can change. Not always. Not even usually. But sometimes. What do you think? Did my mom deserve a second chance? Would you have forgiven her? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories too. And if you made it this far, hit that like button. If something about this story resonated with you, or even if you disagreed with my choices, share your perspective below. Your voice matters. Thanks for listening to my story. Thanks for being here. While I